Alright guys, so we've got a little project here. We're going to need to use this wheelbarrow, and we're going to have to do a little service work to this thing first. So this thing needs a little air in the tires and needs a little grease. So I thought we'd just have a gander at the old tire inflator. Well dang, we still got plenty of air in these tires. Good enough for the girls I go out with, I'll just say that. Let's see about the grease here. Don't have any grease fittings, so we're going to have to use spray grease. Alright, let me go get some of that. I like this stuff right here. Liquid wrench. See, this is lubricating oil. Works pretty good. Had to get the right straw. That was the last straw, I say. Okay, now we're going to get a little squirt here. When I was rolling this thing out there in the back, it seemed like it was a little dry. Looks like we're going to have to do some hammer action on this. See how the axle is all kind of slid out here? Ain't nothing a hammer can't fix. It gives us a little room. Trying to get that dry sound to go away. Here's all I'm after. When you're hauling dirt, it gets pretty heavy pretty quick. Okay, that'll do that. So this does have quite a bit of air in it. I don't know how much dirt we're going to end up with. But we need to put some grease, and we need to fill up some air on these trailer tires because I might have to use it too. So let me get my glovey poos here. So on this grease gun, man, I'm telling you, first of all, I've never seen a grease gun that didn't leak. So wherever you store it, you might want to lay it on a rag because it's going to leak, and especially around here where it's 100 degrees half the day. The other thing I've learned is these things right here, it's a quick connect. So you see you push it and the little fingers come out. So you can put it on there and you can get it back off easy. Sometimes if you have a recessed one especially, I have had more than one time in the past where I could not get that thing off. I was using pry bars and everything because it gets pressurized. So in this case here, just slip that right on there. Get some old grease going. Oop. So it popped out. Good to go on that one. Hit this other side right quick. There we go. Okay, so that's done. And I think I've shown you guys before the tire inflator. We're going to go ahead and hit these tires with some air too. So this is the tire inflator. Got this in some little toolkit thing I got one time. So it doesn't work for cars, but it works really good on this kind of stuff. So if you got a small tire, like a wheelbarrow or like this wagon, then it works great. Alright, let's see what that does for us here. Yeah, it's pretty decent, I'll say. This other side right quick. Okay, I think that'll do it. Here with the old smush test. Okay, so we're ready to get a project rolling around here and get my shovel and stuff. Okay, so basically what we're going to do here, we've got the goats in here eating and this little side on the east end of the house. I mean, you can see how thick that grass is, man. Them goats are just, it's a lot more grass than they can handle. Ain't that right, buddy? So what I want to do here, we're going to have to dig a hole right here, and hopefully the ground's going to be soft enough. So I've got this cattle panel put up against the fence. We're just going to have to move it over and start digging. All right, let's see if we can get in here with some shovel action and get the old wheelbarrow going here. So the idea is this is just a pot covering a conduit that I put in. Well, that sucker's covered up too. There's a water valve down in there, and we want to put a box around this thing. So I've got the water box already. I just need to see if the dirt is still soft enough for me to dig. Because if it's too hard, I'm going to have to give up. Well, that kind of sucked a little. Tell you what, let me cover this back up. And then we'll cover it when we're ready. So this is just a box for a water valve or something. That's what's in there, is a water valve. So our concept is here, I keep having to mow around this pot, and the weeds grow up around it. So I'm going to put this down below the surface a little bit, and that will make my life easy. And I'm going to have to cut this round thing off right here, so we'll see how that's going to work. Okay, we're back from lunch break. All good workers get a lunch break. So the concept is here, I want to get this thing down low enough where I can drive over it with the lawnmower. So a little more digging is going to be necessary. Now I have to dig the dirt out of that hole that I knocked in there a while ago. So let's see what we're after here. So along that edge, so mostly on each end, looks like where we need to dig here. There's some rocks in here too. In fact, you can see them right there and there and there. Those things are part of the rock driveway. They just slide out over here over the years when I put new rock down. I think there's rock everywhere around here. See, that's where that's my catch-all right there. Backside of the golf cart, just pitch everything in there and deal with it later. That's almost there, right there, buddy. Probably dig it out just a little extra, just to be sure. I definitely don't want to hit it. It looks like it's plenty good right there, but get some more. Okay, I think that's low enough. I'm gonna level it a little bit. So it's sitting kind of crooked. So it's kind of leaning this way, low on this side. So I'll just scoop the dirt around to even it out, and then we'll cut this pipe off. Now it's a little low on this side. Okay, let me go get my goat gloves on. We'll dig all that dirt out of there. So I got my trusty drill, and we're gonna use this right here. This is a 3-inch cutoff wheel. Whoops, a 3-inch cutoff wheel. It's made for a die grinder, so it's got this little adapter. And normally you could just put it in a die grinder, but we don't have one out here and with many air, so I'm going to use the drill. Found out the drill works pretty good. So I'm kind of setting it where it's not so deep into the chuck, because we're going to have to cut, I think, a couple of times on this pipe to get it out of here. Oh, I need my safety glasses. Let me grab these. Old school safety glasses. Old school still rules, man. So this thing, I found out you can use this to cut 4-inch PVC, 3-inch PVC, stuff like that, by just doing this number. But you only got so much depth, so you have to cut a little off and then come back. So 1, 2, so below the 3rd rib here. So this kind of corrugated pipe right here, this is actually made for like a septic system drain or something, or maybe a big rain drain or something. But these little corrugations, I don't know what it is about it, but I had this out here and it was like a Black Widow magnet. Every time I went to get it, there was a Black Widow in it. All right, let's see where we're at. So we'll get a little more, probably 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, man, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let me get my goat gloves, put this stuff over here. All right, so we've got our goat gloves here. Let me see about, so this is an old roofing shingle. It's actually never been used, but it's about 30 years old. So we're going to try to line the bottom of this. Maybe that grass won't grow in it or something, I'm hoping. Let me see about getting the dirt out of it first. I want to make sure I don't get bit by something. Telling you, man, those black widows used to really get up in here. Oh, there's one in something in the bottom right there. That's just an ant. Okay. Sorry if I look scared. It's because I am. Let me get a screwdriver so I can dig that out a little bit. See, I told you guys, the Apocalypse Toolbox, handy again, right? In fact, we'll use the screwdriver and our handy dandy pry bar. They call it a wonder bar. I guess they used to. I wonder why. So there's a water valve down here in the bottom. Golly, can't believe there's that much stuff in here. A lot of silt has washed in here, I guess. Good grief. Got a lot of rock in the bottom, but didn't realize it was going to do this. Well, that would have sucked if I needed to come out here and turn this off. This goes to the back where the barn is. All right, now I'm going to try to put the roofing shingles around this area here. Let's see if I can just kind of do a little at a time. You can just use one of these utility knives to cut a roofing shingle. It's pretty easy. Right, let's get another one. Maybe I should put some roofing shingles down there in the bottom. That's an idea. All right. Think we ought to put some roofing shingles? I guess I can always do that later. Okay, I think we're down below the surface enough. Now, start filling her back in. One thing about using this, see how the tar stuff from the roofing shingle gets on your blade? You can't retract the blade anymore after that. Ugh. Well, that was fun. Now we'll put the lid on so I don't get dirt in it, hopefully. Even with all that straightening, leveling, the roofing shingles kind of made it come up a little in the seam, but I think it'll be okay. Now, get us a little dirt around the sides and call it. So today it's about 96 or 97 degrees, which is pretty warm, but it's not as bad as you'd think because we've got a pretty good breeze today. So I can handle up to about 97 or 98, but after you get past that, like 99 and 100, that starts to suck pretty bad. They say, the infamous they, say that people are comfortable up until the temperature reaches higher than their body temperature is. So in school, they teach us our average body temperature, 98.7. Oops, I almost forgot my screwdriver. Boink. But apparently that's not the case, because my average body temperature, I think, is 97.3 or something like that. So for somebody who is warm-blooded, they could tolerate the heat better. Somebody who's cold-blooded, I guess, like maybe I'm cold-blooded, man. They say that when the temperature outdoors is hotter than your personal body temperature, that's when you get uncomfortable. So makes pretty good sense because I'm cold-blooded, 97.3. So when it gets to 98, 99, I start getting a little uncomfortable. I think anybody gets uncomfortable when they get up to 100. But so far, we haven't had 100. But it's not July 4th yet. It's a few days from now. And July 4th, that is the clock. It is like clockwork around here. It's going to always be, well, if you're going to have, okay, let me restate that. So around here, if you're going to have 100 degrees in the summer, it'll be on July 4th. And then you'll have more later. But if you don't get 100 on July 4th, you probably won't get it the rest of the summertime. All right, so what we're doing, we're using this sledgehammer right here. This is a Home Depot job here. I like the fiberglass handle. That's the way to do things. We're going to use it like a tamp. You're just kind of trying to smash the dirt in here. So when I put those roofing shingles in there, it kicked up the side over here. Do all that work to straighten it, and then it unstraightened itself. So I guess that's just the way it is. See these dang rocks? So I'm going to hit that with my lawnmower. I already know. I got to pull them out. I take all those rocks and I spread them out around here. Or I put them in a feed sack and put them in the trash. Now I'm going to see if I can find me some grass in here. Little pieces of grass like this. Smash them in. You know what? See, these are my decent gloves. I need to go get my goat gloves. That's what goat gloves are for. See, they've already gotten grubby. Now we can use them for digging in the dirt. Keep these a little bit good for a while. Grab some little pieces of grass out of here. Now let's put the tamp on this a little bit more. All right.